conversations, and all I could do was sit in a distance, watch them, and tell my friends how I thought their characters were. Now, after about 5 people and 5 correct behavioral assessments, they asked me to tell who of these people would have what type of relationship with the person they spoke to. And after answering that twice correctly, so they pointed out 2 people, and twice I gave the correct answer, like what sort of relationship they probably would have with the person they were talking to. One of them asked if I would like a real challenge. Now, if you know me a bit better, I'm not one away to run from challenges, so I of course said yes. And a few days later, we were sitting in a busy bar. It was like a restaurant bar, and we were joined by a friend of his. And this friend, I really liked him. He was a really nice guy. He looked a bit like Woody Allen, glasses and a bit shorter, and a really nice guy. But he had a very peculiar approach to women. I mean, somehow somebody had told him that he had to be very assertive, and like that he had to go and pick him up. But it wasn't really his way of doing, because it was in contrast with his own personality type, actually. And so the approach of women that he took was that he would see a nice woman, he would walk up to her, then he would turn around her for about 10 minutes. I mean, really not talking to her, just turning around her. Finally muster up enough courage to talk to her. So he would walk up to her suddenly very quickly, tell her something like, "You're beautiful, let's dance." And the woman like usually said no. So he would accept the inevitable no by turning around without a word and rejoining our table. Now, as it happened, I noticed that the women that he chose to approach were all of the risk-taking type. So the type of women that like strong and very confident men. And my friend was laughing quietly in the meanwhile. He was drinking his cocktail and wondering, how I would sort out his friend. And I'm glad to say that I could actually. I basically explained to him how he thought, so basically how his character worked, and what in the women made that he was attracted to them and that he chose them, and which was more, believe me, more a matter of attitudes that the women had rather than forms and looks. And I asked him after that, when we spoke about this, I asked him like, okay, what sort of a relationship are you looking for? What is important for you in the woman that you want to be with? And so he started to tell me for about 30 minutes. He was very open, which was very good. And after about 30 minutes, where he told me that he was really looking for a long-term relationship and that he wanted to be happy, and he described the type of woman that he wanted to be with. So then I took some time to look at the people in the restaurant and the bar, and I pointed out 3 women in the bar to him that actually would appreciate his gentle approach. So I gave him some advice. I told him, don't walk around them for 10 minutes because it makes him really nervous, and don't tell them they're beautiful, which is really a bit too direct. I mean, if you're a very outgoing personality, you're Brad Pitt, then you can come up to women and say, "Oh, you're beautiful, let's dance," and they're likely to do it. But because when people are very shy, and because most of the communication that you do, you actually do with your approach. I mean, rather than your words. The words didn't correspond with his behavior, and that's why the women, only because of that already, they would say no most of the time. So he then approached one of these 3 women. They started talking, and they met again. Then they started dating, and the nice thing is that she became his wife a few months ago. Now, magic or not, but all I did was just combining the 2 personalities of the people involved. And this resulted in this case in a marriage, but it can also help you to build excellent sales and team relationships, or a relationship with suppliers, with co-workers, with anybody that you choose to. So anyway, we tagged along. So let's go back to the six blocks. Now the first block, which you see it here on the right on the slide. The first on top, the PT, stands for personality types. This is the basis of everything, because you will learn that every personality type needs his own approach, and this is really very important. I can't stress this enough. I mean, guessing the right personality type is already half of the work in lie detection, because then you know what to expect from this person and what is beyond normal if somebody doesn't behave like that. And in this block you learn to identify the 5 character types and how to successfully communicate and interact with them and interview them. Now the second block are response cues. Because if somebody decepts, if you remember the slide where he was jumping between the 2 or the 3 alternative realities and the truth, so deception creates verbal and non-verbal responses, and these responses result in identifiable cues to the presence of deception. And so in this block you learn how to identify these cues, but also how to manage these responses. In the third block, the verbal cues, you learn how to identify deception from the voice of your communication partner. And then I don't only mean the voice used, but I mean the voice tone, the usage, the words, the timbres, fast and slow speech patterns, changes, whether it suddenly becomes faster or it becomes slower or goes up in pitch or lower in pitch, and more like this. And you will be amazed how only this block can, in combination with the right personality type, really get you an inside look into the person that you're talking to. Now the fourth block are the non-verbal cues. And in this block we discuss the body language which is used in deception, and how we match this with the words and meanings from the words, the meaning of the words from your communication partner. So again, as you see, body language does have a place in lie detection, a big one even, but not when it's not combined with other information. You need other information to make an accurate judgment about whether somebody's lying or not. Now, point 5 is the assessment and the interview one-on-one. And this block concentrates on how to respond and verify and proceed when you feel that your communication partner is being deceptive. So, one of the nice things of this training is that we teach you actually how to recognize if somebody is lying. But then, when you know it, then you also have to proceed somehow. Yeah, you have to go on. So here we learn you how to proceed, how to continue. Okay, so now you know that somebody's probably lying. How can you make sure that somebody is lying? How do you do this? And if you want, how do you do this in a way that the other one doesn't understand it? So that's one thing that we do in this block. And the second thing that we learn in this block is how to control the interview environment, so that you get even more success and faster truths. Because actually, there where you have the conversation with someone, you can make some very simple changes, which is the use of space, the use of light, the use of surrounding, which will not get you more truth, because all the other stuff is sufficient for that, but it will get you the truth faster. It gives you additional tools to get the truth out faster. The sixth and the final block is the admission time. And when you have identified deceptive behavior, then in itself this can be sufficient. You know, you don't always have to know like what really happened. I mean, sometimes it's just enough that you know that someone lied. But for those cases when it's not, and where it's important for you to know what really happened, then this block will teach you how to recognize that your communication partner is ready to tell the truth. So there are, when somebody lies, then there are cues, let's say, behavioral cues that will tell you that somebody lied. But if somebody is ready to tell the truth, then there also are cues that warn you that, okay, now that you have to be quiet and not ask questions, because this person is going to tell the truth, and he's ready to do so. Now the final block is the implementation phase, and this is the second part of the total deception detection blueprint training. And this block is, in my option, the fun part, the extra fun part of the training, which is taught in a 1 day of a very intensive group training. This is really a very intensive training where we get together. We always get together maximally 10 people per group, and we start with a short reminder of the 6 blocks. So that it's very fresh and that you have it completely fresh in your memory. So basically within an hour we go through the entire training, which is enough to jog your memory. And after that we get into the real meat of the training, which is the analysis of real videos and role plays to detect deception. After this training, and provided that you've learned the blocks well, you can detect lies better than ever before, and with great results. And it really does miracles for your interpersonal relationships. If you have them, then you're welcome to bring recorded interviews from yourself or others that can be live analyzed. So maybe you saw something political, or something with sports, or I don't know, some scandals, or and you have some video from this. I mean, you're absolutely welcome to bring it. Or maybe you have an interview from a candidate, or from a client that you have on tape, and you were not sure if somebody was telling the truth. then you're absolutely welcome to bring this tape to our training, and we can analyze it live. That's really good. Now, about the ease, I also wanted to make a slide about the ease of the training, because like very often people come to me that they say that, oh my God, you have to really have a perfect sense for people for this, or you have to be a psychologist to be able to do this, or stuff like this. But this actually is a science, and don't get me wrong, I mean, like interview and interrogation that we learned in the army, you have no time for elaborate studies and elaborate speeches, and of course we are extremely well trained, but in the army you need quick cues, because you very often you don't have time to decide whether somebody will shoot his hostages or not, for example. Yeah, you have a few cues and you have to decide, okay, is this person going to shoot or not? Or if you have a hostage situation, you get somebody out of the building, which is maybe one of the because you don't know, right? I mean, it can be one of the hostages, but it also can be one of the hostage takers. You never know what you get. So you have to very quickly, really within a minute, within 2 minutes, you have to identify if this person is telling you the truth or not. So what the intelligence community did is to fine-tune this, is that they created a system where they say, okay, this and this means that, and this means that. And if you look at it, it's very logical. I mean, everything, it makes perfect sense, and it's actually very easy to learn this. And in fact, most people that after they use the training, they tell me two things. The first thing is that they realize that really anybody can do this as long as they really use what they did. And this is really true, by the way, because this really is a skill anyone can learn. I mean, until now, I didn't have a student that didn't learn it, that came to our training and that didn't learn it. I mean, that didn't have benefits from it. And the second thing that we very often have with people that were trained a longer time ago, because this training, for example, is compulsory within the Runa Group itself, is that it really becomes second nature for people. And the funny thing is that very often people told me, and I have the same experience, is that you sit with somebody on a table and automatically the things click into place, and you know already, okay, so this is this type of person, I must talk with that person like this, and this is what they like, and this is what they don't like, and stuff like this. So it's really a very nice, very powerful tool, and it really can bring incredible personal and professional benefits to your life. Okay, thank you very much for listening. I hope that you like this introduction to the training. And if you're interested in receiving a brochure about the training, or more information, or next dates, or if you would like to participate in our next training, which is of course the best thing, then please send me an email on the address that you see on the slide, which is gerard.sassen@runagroup.eu. And of course, please don't forget to check our website at runagroup.eu. Okay, so thank you very much, and I wish you a very nice day, and thank you for listening. Take care. Bye-bye.